and welcome back to Golf Weekly. I'm going to call this segment personally, I'm going to call this segment the jealous segment.
The jealous.
Because I'm with two gentlemen who actually had the rare privilege and opportunity to play Augusta National, something that virtually nobody in the world gets to do. It's a very exclusive membership, and very, very few people get to play. You've already met Keith Bach to my left. We've got a very special guest and a good friend of mine, Mr. Terry Daugherty, joining us today. Terry, welcome to the show.
Great to be here.
Terry's a longtime friend of mine, and Terry and I do some work with the Boys and Girls Club together. And Terry was sharing the experience that he had a few weeks ago and several other times in your past about playing Augusta National. Why don't you share with our viewers that experience?
Well, of course, like you would imagine, you feel like you've died and gone to heaven. And I know that's a great experience too, but the Masters playing at Augusta National was a surprise, and then got to play multiple times. You know, from the moment you go down Magnolia Lane to playing, hitting the first tee, to walking the grounds, and fortunately we were able to stay there, and a couple of times, 3 times I guess, staying in Butler Cabin, never leaving the grounds, having the meals in the clubhouse, using the practice range and all the great things, playing the par 3, seeing the clubhouse, the crow's nest, the champions locker room. You know, it's just beyond belief.
So you really got to go to sort of all of those nooks and crannies, those special places that as a spectator, even if you're lucky enough to be a spectator, there's no way you're going to get near some of these areas. The Butler Cabin, the clubhouse, the crow's nest, which is very famous, obviously, which is where the reigning amateur champion stays, I believe.
Yes.
And is that as small as advertised, that little area up there atop the clubhouse?
Yes, it's
small and old.
Small and very old. Yeah.
Yes.
I understand everything is very understated there. Nothing fluffy or fancy about it. It's just very casual and elegant.
It's very open. There's 5 beds there, I believe, and little compartments. Not very big. 1 restroom with 2 sinks. But it's fantastic.
And you mentioned you had stayed at the Butler Cabin. Now that's the cabin actually where they come on air, and Jim Nantz will offer the new, or they actually interview the new champion, and they put the jacket on him. Is that the same cabin?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so that's right there in the living room area where you would actually stay.
Yes, and a lot of people don't think about it, but it looks like on TV just a small little place, but it's actually 3 levels.
Wow.
And the basement is where, I mean, it's a living quarters down there, but the basement suite is where the presentation is.
Where the fireplace is. And
yes.
Where they, okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Things that you would never really know about.
Oh, yes.
Keith, I know, again, I've known you a long time. I've coveted those pictures that you showed me for many years.
Yeah.
I know you've gotten a chance to be there a few times. Why don't you talk a little bit about your experience?
I was fortunate to play it in 2006. I actually had 3 invitations before that, and I was actually on the other side of the country in California. I was finally able to make it, and it was just, like you said, a phenomenal experience from anywhere from the beginning when you're driving down and you're hitting balls, warming up, and the caddy's watching you, and then you have lunch and head out to number 1, and it's just no one's around. You're with the caddies and the other 3 guys, and you know, it's just a phenomenal experience with knowing the history of Augusta and the fact that not many people get that privilege to play there. You just really, that's the day that you don't mind playing slow. You know, when everywhere else you want to play in a certain time, but you could just be out there all day enjoying it.
You probably don't want it to end, I would imagine.
No, what's actually very interesting is that if you've never had the privilege of actually going there, it's amazing. The years that I've been going there and been on the other side of the ropes, you don't see what the contour of the golf course looks like when you're actually playing it. Because when you're playing it, like for example, number 5 is a par 4. There's a bunker on the left-hand side that's literally like higher than the ceiling here, and you would never understand that by watching it or even walking around, because you never have the opportunity to go over there to that side of the fairway.
The drop in elevation there.
The drop, I mean,
Yeah.
it's literally, it's got to be at least 15 feet to be in that bunker.
Yeah.
And then number 6, for example, I have a nice photograph of me actually, the hole is front left, and I hit it on the top right ridge, and I was literally putting to the back of the green to allow the ball to come down and feed around.
Right, yeah.
So it was pretty amazing, you know, the different contours that are out there on the greens and the green complexes.
I know when Bobby Jones, when he found the land, it was, wasn't it a tree nursery or something?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's a very expansive piece of land. Now, I would imagine without the throngs of people and crowds there, when you're there by yourself, it probably looks pretty barren, doesn't it?
Oh, sure.
So,
Yeah.
so you know, the crowds probably, and many players have said this, they really shape a lot of these fairways for these guys during tournament time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that we also, years prior to that, I had the privilege of taking a tour of the whole facility. The first assistant, Eric Peterson, gave my dad and I a tour, and we literally drove around the whole grounds. We saw the nursery, which you never see, and they actually have any plant or any bush or tree that they have on grounds that is visible, they have a backup. So if that falls or gets knocked down, they actually have a replacement where they swap them out so it just doesn't look that it's been altered in any case. And we actually got the tour at the end of May where the golf course was closed and it was being airified, and it was funny because I'm probably one of very few people that can say we literally drove over the bridge on number 12 and took the golf cart right over the green
Yeah.
and then back over the tee on 13 and over the bridge. So we literally drove across the green, which I thought was amazing.
My guess is Bobby Jones probably moved a little bit in his grave when that occurred. I'm sure that caused some of the golfing gods to wiggle a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, you know, what exciting experiences to hear about. You know, I've had the good fortune of getting to go to the tournament a number of times, but never to play it. And I think that's, as golfers, as golf enthusiasts, that's something that most of us only dream of. And to hear of your experiences, to learn that, you know, not only did you get to go there, but you got to see some of the things that will live in golfing history forever. It's really exciting.
One day you might play it. You never know. Just keep working.
Never
on
know.
it.
I'm gonna keep saying my prayers and crossing my fingers. But thanks so much for this. Very, Terry, great to have you here. I think you're going to stick around with us for the next segment. Stay with us. We've got to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the history of the Masters and some of the greatest moments in Masters history. Stay with us.